Hello, this is D, and I'm back with another video. Well, I've had about a week with the Xbox Series X, and to be quite honest with you guys, I've been thoroughly enjoying myself. I had to really drag myself back to the computer today in order to make a video so that you guys could see what my impressions were on the Xbox Series X. Now, over the period of a week, a lot of reports have been coming out that the Xbox Series X is underperforming. A lot of people have been doing comparisons between the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, and in some situations the PlayStation 5 is indeed outperforming the Xbox Series X. So I'm gonna answer all the claims by the detractors today, because a lot of people seem to think that this is a I got you moment, where I had said previously on many videos that the Xbox Series X is more powerful than the PlayStation 5 and that multiplats would look and play better on the Series X. Now, there are a few reasons why certain things are not panning out as anticipated. I'll address that later on in the video, but first I want to give you guys my impressions on the Xbox Series X. Now, when I first opened up this box, I knew that I was getting a premium experience, as the packaging was very Apple-like in its presentation. When I fired up my Xbox Series X, setting it up was a pretty smooth procedure. Now, I used the Xbox app and it carried over all of my profiles from my Xbox Series X, even the layout of my dashboard. Now, the Xbox Series X, it doesn't look different than the Xbox One X. The UI is exactly the same across all consoles. Now, the things that are different on the system, of course, are the capabilities as well as the speeds of the system. Everything was really fast, whether I was downloading games, transferring them from my external hard drive, or installing them directly to the Series X. The speeds were incredibly fast. For the most part, everything on my Xbox Series X works as intended. I did have a few hiccups, such as games crashing to the home screen and quick resume not working. I also got one hard crash, but apart from that, my system has been running pretty well. Now, I find the system to be very quiet. It runs extremely cool. The only gripe that I really have is that I cannot put it up vertically in my entertainment unit. I just don't have enough space, so I have to lay it on its side. Now, apart from that, I'm really enjoying my Xbox Series X. Now, one of the first games that I fired up was NBA 2K21, and the graphics definitely scream next generation. Now, we have new animations, new gameplay modes, as well as a new color commentary team. The game definitely is a step up from the current Xbox One version. Now, I also tried Dirt 5. I found this game to run very high frame rates at 120 frames per second. It also has a 4K 60 frames per second mode. I did a little bit of an analysis on it, and the frame rate was really smooth in this game. Now, I do have an LG CX OLED, so if there were to be any type of tears, I wouldn't see it in the gameplay, as the adaptive sync takes care of that. I also wanted to try some of the older games to see how they would perform on the Series X, and one of those games was Forza Horizon. Now, this game was running at 4K 60 frames per second with graphic quality that rivals the PC. I have played Forza Horizon on the PC, and I gotta say, it was pretty much a like-for-like experience, especially with that 4K 60 frames per second. Now, another game that I fired up was Gears 5, and I have to say that this game looks absolutely stunning on the Xbox Series X. Now, once again, we're getting a 4K resolution with 60 frames per second. Now, I do believe that the resolution is a little bit variable. For most parts, what I've seen, it does stick very close to 4K. We're also getting PC Ultra settings in this game, and I have to say, seeing this game on a console, running PC settings, running at 60 frames per second, 4K resolution, is a definite treat for the Xbox Series X. Now, I would be lying to you guys if I didn't say how disappointing it is to not have Halo launch on the Xbox Series X. I understand why Microsoft delayed the game. It was nowhere near being ready for the public, but it is disappointing not to see any first-party games launch on the Xbox Series X. Now, with that being said, you do have Game Pass, and when you open that up on your Xbox Series X, you're going to see a host of games that are also optimized for the Xbox Series X and S that you can play day one on your next generation console. And a new addition is EA Play, where you have access to various EA titles, so there are plenty of games to play on the Xbox Series X. Now, overall, I am impressed with the Xbox Series X, and I do believe the future is bright. Now, this is the part where I kind of gotta cut away from all of the nonsense, and I just gotta address the naysayers. Now, I see a lot of people on Twitter, they're posting a lot of stuff in my YouTube comments saying that the Xbox Series X is not powerful at all. The PlayStation 5 is outperforming the Xbox Series X? Why is there screen tearing? And I've said this many times in previous videos before the console launched that the tools were behind for the Xbox Series X. Now the reason for this is because Microsoft waited for the RDNA 2 architecture to have the full feature set on the Xbox Series X, and because of this, all of their tools, their development kits, everything was behind schedule. Now I can see that some developers are having some issues with some of their games on the Xbox Series X, and yes, they are indeed underperforming. Now the Xbox Series X is a more powerful system than the PlayStation 5. It has features that are not on the PlayStation 5. Now this is a brand new architecture that is inside the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. Now the Xbox Series X has the full RDNA 2 feature set, and these have not really been enabled on the console yet. Now the only feature that comes with RDNA 2 that I know that they're using on the consoles is VRS. Mesh shaders and all the other features that come with RDNA 2 are not really being utilized on the Xbox Series X. The GDK is not mature right now, and I know some people are writing in the comment section down below that this is damage control, but this is the actual truth. Many credible sites are also backing up these claims as they're speaking to developers behind the scenes, and they have confirmed that the tools are not mature, they're not ready yet for the Xbox Series X. Now, is this an excuse? Not really. Microsoft should have made sure that the Xbox Series X, that everything was ready for a smooth launch. Unfortunately, that is not the case, and some of the games are underperforming on the Xbox Series X. Well, like I said, AMD just released Big Navi on the PC, and developers are going to start to use all of the features of that architecture. As well, on the console, they're going to start to use all of those features, and once they get familiar with them, you're going to see them implemented into many more games, and that's when you're truly going to see the advantages of the Xbox Series X. Now, until then, honestly guys, just enjoy your next generation systems. Both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X have barely been out a week yet. There's plenty of time for comparison and console warring in the future if that's what you're into, but right now I really do believe that we should just celebrate the next generation and just enjoy the games. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think about all of this. Let me know what you think about the Xbox Series X. Let me know what you think about the PlayStation 5 if that's the console that you got. Let me know in the comment section down below, and like I usually say, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.